DNF is the acronym that we all dread as authors. We don't want to hear our readers say it. We don't want to see our readers saying it in reviews. We don't want to think of anybody giving up on our book and losing interest in it. For those of you who are new to the reading writing lingo, DNF stands for did not finish, aka I'm not going to waste my time on this book. I'm bored. I'm moving on. That's something you don't want to hear your readers say. Ever. So how can we avoid this terrible fate? How can we avoid making mistakes in our books that lose our readers' interest and make them put the book down and not finish it? It is crucial to understand what annoys, upsets, or bores your reader to the point of them putting your book down and never finishing it. It's so important to understand these things, and that's why I decided to make this video. I have spent the past years understanding and researching my own reading preferences and the reading preferences of others so that I can better understand what is it that makes us lose interest in a story, makes us put it down, makes us forget about it and never want to finish it. So I decided to compile all these things into a video. 7 big reasons why your readers might DNF your book and how to avoid these mistakes.
Why does your story matter? Good question. What if I told you that there's a science behind every great story? I don't just teach you how to write. I teach you how to change the world with your story and make your author dreams come true.
Before we get into these 7 mistakes that will make your readers DNF your book, I want to ask you to take a quick second to hit the subscribe button below this video. Not only does it help my content rise to the top, but it also makes sure that you never miss a video or live training or special event from me as we explore writing and publishing together. So make sure you're subscribed. You're going to want to be in this community. New videos on writing and publishing every Wednesday. I want you around. So hit the subscribe button. Okay, reason number 1 that your readers may DNF your book. Not enough internal conflict. You saw that coming, didn't you? You knew it was going to be the number 1 reason, and with good reason. Showing us what your main character wants and what they're afraid of is so crucial to making us care about them. And if we don't care about them, we don't care about the book because the story itself has no significance to us. The plot has no meaning to us if we don't know why it matters to the characters. That's why internal conflict is so crucial. First and foremost, your character is driven by this deep-seated fear and desire that is clashing and warring inside them, and they are going after something, this goal that they think will bring them true happiness, and all of it is driven by this misbelief, this fatal flaw that has been established in their past and has turned them into who they are today. That whole mixture of juiciness and conflict is what makes us intrigued and relate to this character. Otherwise, we're just watching a bunch of random stuff happen to a random assortment of characters who are just being whacked around by the plot like a punching bag. If I start reading a book and the main characters are like punching bags, they have no internal conflict, or they have very little internal conflict, and I don't really understand where they're coming from, I can't see their desires, their fears, and their misbeliefs, I will lose interest in it pretty quickly. And I just want to emphasize that it doesn't matter if your plot is slow-paced and chill and cozy and laid back. It's okay. You don't need to have car chases and high stakes and suspense at the very beginning of your book in order to pull readers in and make them care. All you need is a character that we care about. We just need to connect to the character's deepest desires and fears, what makes them human, what makes them struggle, what makes them real. Bottom line, we need to know why does it matter? Number 2 most common reason for DNFing a book is that the readers encounter content they didn't expect or you didn't prepare them for. This is a big one for me. So usually going into a book, I pretty much know based on the description and the reviews of this book, I know what sort of content I'm going to encounter. I know what tropes this book contains. I know what genre it is. I know what the target audience is. So I basically know what I'm going to encounter. But once in a while, I will encounter a book that surprises me with a trope or some content that I wasn't expecting or didn't anticipate. And sometimes these surprises can be good surprises, sometimes not so good. That's why it's really important to be 100% transparent about what sort of target audience your book is for. What does it contain? What content level? What age groups is this book for? What can readers expect from this book? The thing is, you want this book to find its ideal readers, right? Its ideal readers are out there. They exist. You want the book to find them, not the people who will be unpleasantly surprised by what they encounter in the book and be like,
"Oh, I didn't know this had that in it. No. This is not for me."
You want your readers to love it and give it glowing 5-star reviews, right? You don't want a bunch of readers who didn't finish it because they simply were not prepared for the content that they encountered. A lot of this has to do also with the expectations of setting the tone at the beginning of your story, or in the blurb, or in the cover design even. You are setting the tone and the feeling, the experience of what this is going to be. So make sure you're just delivering on what you promise. Number 3, big reason why readers may DNF your book is that the pacing slows way down and the story loses momentum. Loss of momentum is a surefire way to lose your reader's interest and make your book put-downable. How does a story lose momentum, you might ask? There are a few ways that this can happen. There are many ways this can happen, actually, but 2 of the most common ways I've personally seen that stories lose momentum is either when the objective is achieved too quickly or too easily without enough obstacles and conflict, or when the objective is delayed because of deviations into less important pursuits. As you can see, there are 2 sides of the same coin here, so let's see if we can find a happy medium, strike a balance between these 2 things. So in the first case, we lose momentum because the objective is achieved too quickly or too easily. Let's say your characters are trying to pull off a daring heist or win an important competition. If they achieve that objective too quickly, too soon into the book, then basically all the conflicts are over. A way to avoid this is to find new conflicts and new obstacles for your characters to encounter that springboard off of the first objective being achieved. For example, say you're writing a murder mystery and the detective thinks they solved the case and they found the murderer, only to realize that their prime suspect has been killed by the actual murderer. Or the thief cracks the safe and finds that the goods that they were trying to heist have actually been stolen by somebody else before them. This will be different for every story, of course, but try to keep the momentum moving forward by always giving your character new twists in the road, new challenges to overcome, new stakes that raise the stakes because it's happening on a personal level, okay? It's not just a new exciting thing that we have to survive through. It actually has more meaning to the characters and it creates more depth and layers and complexities to their conflicts because they're facing this new challenge, because they just accomplished one step of the goal. However, on the flip side of this coin, we can also kill momentum in a story when we deviate too much trying to pursue this objective, but we get distracted and sidetracked on all these different separate topics that take us away from the main objective of the story. This is another trap that you want to avoid. Don't slow down the journey of the objective by taking a million different pit stops into all these different subplots that we don't care about and that don't really ultimately matter to the story. Don't delay the prize simply for the sake of delaying the prize. If this deviation doesn't really matter to any of the characters on a personal level and doesn't enrich and complicate their conflicts, then try to be honest with yourself and ask yourself, is this really adding to the story or is it just slowing it down? Reason number 4 for DNFing a book: not enough of what readers came for. Just like with my second point, where you can disappoint readers if they encounter something that they weren't expecting, you can also disappoint your readers if they don't encounter enough of what they were expecting and what they came here for. So if your book is promising to be a suspenseful mystery with lots of twists and turns, then make sure you're delivering on that promise. Or if your book is a cozy romance with a lot of emphasis on fluff and cute romantic moments between your couple, make sure that you are including enough of that in your book. This isn't to say that you should write based off of genre expectations or trends in the industry or anything like that. Absolutely not. Write the book you want to read, first and foremost, regardless of anything else. But then when it comes time to produce this book, sell it, distribute it into the world to your readers. Ask yourself, am I promising what the book actually contains? You want readers who come for these ingredients that are here in your book. And you want to make sure that when they come, they are served exactly what they're looking for. Long story short, if you're a vegan, you're not going to go to a steakhouse and expect to eat food that you actually like. Okay, you're going to go to a place where you know this is a vegan place. I'm going to get vegan food that I like. So that's your readers coming to you. Reason number 5, the writing is overly dense or hard to read. This is a big struggle for me with certain books. Everyone's writing style is different, of course, but if a particular writing style is overly flowery and wordy and ostentatious and hard to read, it's going to be a struggle for me to get through that book. It's going to be a struggle for me to get through one page. And if I find myself backtracking over and over again, I have to read this paragraph 3 times to even understand what it means, I'm probably going to DNF this book at some point pretty early on, for the simple fact that it takes me out of the story. It takes me out of the world of the characters, because now I'm thinking about understanding this sentence structure and trying to make sense of the English language. I'm not thinking about the characters. I'm not escaping into this other world. You want the reading experience of your book to be effortless so that your reader is fully immersed in your story world and with your characters, that it feels real to them, that they can escape into it. You don't want them to be struggling to even visualize what it is they're looking at, because the writing is so dense and flowery and overly complex. Your goal shouldn't be to write the most beautiful, lyrical, poetic prose of all time, okay? Your goal should be to make your reader feel something, to make your reader feel what your characters are feeling, to connect to their heart and soul. And believe it or not, sometimes the most simple, raw, honest writing does that way more effectively than the most complex and flowery poetry out there. If you want my brutally honest advice on why we should all stop trying to write pretty prose, you can check out this video here where I discuss that in further detail. But bottom line, make your story matter to you. Then set out to make your reader feel something. Feel what the characters are feeling. That's what's going to have a lasting emotional impact on them. Reason number 6 is when the writer deviates too much from the main characters we care about. This is another reason why I DNF books, movies, TV series, especially TV series, do this so much. I don't know why. I don't understand it. We came for these main characters who we love and care about. Why are you wasting our time with these other sub characters? I call it the friend of a friend syndrome, where we deviate so much from the main character that we originally came here for. We love so much that now we're following the friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, and we barely get any time with the main character that we originally came for because we're so focused on these subplots. Because I don't know, the writer ran out of ideas for the main character. Please don't do this. Please. I understand why subplots can be really engaging and intriguing. They can add layers to your story. Of course, side characters are very important for that reason. I've made a lot of videos on side characters for that reason, but when balanced with the main character. Okay, we can't deviate so far from the main character that we almost can't remember whose story this was in the first place. Again, your readers are here for something specific. Give them what they came for. You know what they're here for. You know what they first fell in love with. Yes, you can leverage those side characters' conflicts to add to the layers of your story and add importance and weight and meaning to your main character's story. But make sure they're still connected. They're still in each other's immediate sphere. Okay? We're not trailing off the course here. We're still in the thick of the conflict with the main protagonists. And finally, reason number 7, this just isn't the book for them. Nothing you can do about it. Seriously, there's nothing you can do about it. I have DNF'd some books that I tried, I really did, but it just wasn't the book for me. And maybe it was my own discernment that I picked up the wrong book in the first place. Should have known myself better as a reader, but oftentimes it has nothing to do with the book itself or the author. The writing could be excellent, the genre could be great, but it's just not the book for me. And you find that there's a lot of readers out there who may DNF your book, and it means nothing as far as your quality of writing or how good of an author you are or how good the story is. It just wasn't their cup of tea, and that's okay. The important thing is there are millions of people out there who will love your book, and they will enjoy it and scream about it and fangirl over it and annotate it and share it with their friends. And those are the people that you want to attract. So don't fret too much about the people who DNF your book and they're like, it just wasn't for me. That's okay. They aren't your readers anyway, so you do not need to waste time trying to convert them, okay? It's not the book for them. They're gonna go find books that make them happy. Good luck to them. You have your readers. So you don't need people who aren't your readers to read your book and then, give it a bad review because they just didn't like it, because it's not their cup of tea. Okay, boom. That's it. Those are the 7 top reasons why I DNF books and why other readers DNF books that I've spoken to and learned from to compile this list for you guys and hopefully give some clarity into why readers may be putting down your book and not finishing it, or what you can do in the future for your future publications and any works that you write to make your books unputdownable and addictive. If you want to dive deeper into all of this and learn more about crafting an addictive plot and writing subplots and side characters and your protagonist's internal journey in such a way that makes your book truly unputdownable. If you want to learn more about all of this whole process, I invite you to check out my monthly live trainings where I dive super deep into all these aspects of character building and outlining and plotting. The link to those resources is below this video, so check that out if you want to take your storytelling to the next level, elevate your story, and take it to new depths of complexity. I host new live trainings every single month, diving deep into different aspects of writing and publishing, so I hope to see you over there on that platform. I think you will love it and get a lot of value out of it. Now, it's time for you to talk to me. Comment below this video and tell me what makes you DNF a book. What makes you just close the book, lose interest, and put it down forever? I'd love to know. Smash that like button and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because I post writing videos every single Wednesday, and I would love to have you here in the community. Until next week, my friend, rock on. The biggest mistake new writers make is being afraid to make mistakes. And you have to make mistakes in order to become better. I mean, it's the same with other art forms, like you were saying. You know, have you ever seen a musician who has only ever played everything perfectly? No, they have to practice a million times and make mistakes.